Mike Elder joins us. He's the head coach at Avon. The Eagles are just having a fantastic season. And Coach, I remember we talked way back, really, as the season was getting started, and we weren't sure if there was going to be a season or how this would play out. But I got to imagine you could kind of take a step back and say, "Wow, it's week 11. We're still playing football. That's a win in and of itself, right?"
Yeah, I'll tell you what, when we were in two-a-days and all the way through August, there was a lot of uncertainty surrounding the season. And I give our kids a lot of credit. Sometimes people are critical of teenagers, but our kids were very optimistic. They showed up every day. They were preparing for a season that we weren't sure if we were going to be able to have. And thank goodness they did, because here we are still playing football, thank goodness. And we're in the regional finals against our rivals.
Yeah, the play on the field. What's been your assessment of your team, and not just how they've handled everything, but just the actual football play? What have you thought of your guys?
You know, when the season began, I was a little critical of myself. I don't think we were necessarily where we usually are week one. Although we were able to get a double overtime win against our rivals, it was a great win, but we certainly weren't playing our best football. And I'm sure they would have the same assessment of that game for themselves. But we have grown every single week. Our kids have gotten better every single week. And I do think we're playing our best football right now. And as a head coach, that's always your goal.
Yeah, Avon Lake, that's your rival. You got played them week 1, 33-30 in overtime, and here you're going to meet them again. This is for sure, Coach, a familiar opponent, right?
Yeah, the Shoremen and us have definitely been in some epic battles as of our recent past, and it's a program we have tremendous respect for. 14 years ago, when I came to Avon, I tell everybody that Coach DeLucas and his staff and what they did over there was certainly what we modeled ourselves after and aspired to be. And so I think we have certainly accomplished a lot of our goals, although we're still chasing one that they have that we don't, which is a state championship. And we've been in the Final Four the last 3 years. We were in the regional finals against them. But I think Coach Kostelnik would also say that, we make them better, and they certainly make us better in everything we do, not only in season, but in the off season.
I can't believe you've already been at Avon for 14 years. I remember when you took over, there was a lot of buzz. A lot of people felt like, you were going to. This always seemed to be a program that was like that sleeping giant program. You had the kids, couldn't put it all together. You've been able to do that now with this program. I mean, is this, when you took over, is this what you had envisioned, Coach?
Yeah, it is actually what I envisioned. And I'll be honest, it was a perfect storm. We were a growing community. We were adding teachers, so I've been able to surround myself with tremendous staff. We have an administration and a school board who support what we do, not only football, but all extracurriculars. We're building a performing arts, $17 million performing arts center right now. So we get it done academically in Avon. We're a top 5% school district, but we have a superintendent and leaders who also value extracurriculars. And that's a blessing, because they see all this stuff as an extension of the classroom, and they support you. And we don't ever have to apologize for our success in Avon. And I think we're doing it the right way, and they see the impact it can have on kids.
How are the kids handling all this throughout the playoffs? I mean, you're 3-4 weeks in now to the playoffs. I mean, how do you feel about your team and how they've dealt with this playoff run?
Our kids have been remarkable. Every time I think I can't get more proud of a team. Last year we had all the injuries we overcame before they caught up with us against Massillon in the Final Four. This year, just the whole circumstances surrounding this and how our kids have handled it, and the positive mindset that these kids have brought every single day, it's actually inspiring. And as an adult and somebody who's struggled through, some of these quarantine days and a lot of the lockdown stuff and the lack of normalcy, as you would say, I know I needed them in my life. And I couldn't be more proud of a group of kids and coaches. They have just come every day with a workmanlike attitude, and it's been quite fun to be part of.
Last two things for you. I know you've talked about the Avon Lake program. This Avon Lake team that you're playing, if you remember back and now what you've seen on film, what makes them so tough? How did they get here, Coach?
Well, Coach Kostelnik and his staff, first off, do a great job. They're very well coached. Defensively, they're as good as a team as we've seen since week one, which was them. And they're even better now than they were then. And we're well aware of that. So it all starts with them on defense and how good they are and how they get after the ball, and they're schematically sound. But that presents a big challenge for our offensive coaches, and we're excited about it. On the other side of the ball, they have a very big physical offensive line. A lot of these kids have been playing for them since they were sophomores, and quite honestly, I think this is probably the best senior class I've seen the Shoremen have in my 14 years in Avon, and they've had some great classes. That's not to take away anything from the other schools or the classes, but I'll be glad to see this class graduate of theirs. But we've had some success against them, and hopefully we'll write one more chapter to this book and be able to advance. But we know it's going to take a great effort, and we're going to have to win the turnover battle.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Coach, keys to a victory. It's what's the old saying in football? It's tough to beat a team twice in the same season. You guys got to try to do that.
Yeah, we have to try to do that 2 years in a row, actually. You know, we were able to do it last year, and so we know what we're up against, but our kids are motivated. Every time we win in the regular season, it seems like there's some things surrounding it where people call into question whether or not, you know, our win actually was valid or you know, something happened. So for some reason, our kids feel like an underdog going into this game, and I love that. They have a chip on their shoulder, and it's going to come down to execution and having fun playing against the rivals that we have a tremendous amount of respect for. I think that's what makes this rivalry different. Is I do believe there is a mutual respect on both sides of the ball, and we love great competition, and so do they, and we're both going to get that.
Coach, listen, really appreciate the time, and good luck, and hopefully we'll talk again soon here.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Nick.